Look out!
Fear not, Ranger.
I'm a sucker for dungeon crawlers. From the early days of Diablo and Dungeon Siege to games like Darksiders, Genesis, and Torchlight, I'm generally game to sign up for any new adventure that's hacking my way through hordes of enemies with the gleam of getting a slightly better weapon to then use it to hack through yet another horde of enemies. So when Minecraft Dungeons was announced a few months back, I was interested, because despite not playing a ton of Minecraft, I figured this would be a charming Diablo clone that would allow for a ton of customization. This prediction would prove to be about half accurate. When loading the game up, I was hoping to do a full custom character and was met with the option of choosing one of 20-ish characters. Isn't Minecraft known for its creativity? This was a little disappointing. Oh well, old man it is. You were then given a briefing of the story, which is basically defeat the Arch Illager, a small tooth fairy looking character for now. He's pretty sick looking. Ill. Then you're taken to your camp or hub world. Nothing to really explore here except for some emerald chests and some scarecrows, which exist solely to beat the living crap out of for literally no reason. And here we are, doing just that. That's Sism, a real-life lumberjack who has a hankering for scaring scarecrows. Ironic. So Sism and I set off on our journey, and you slowly work your way through an ever-expanding choice of worlds to conquer. The worlds range from deserts to swamps to mines to castles, and my personal favorite, one called Pumpkin Pastures. Too often the season of autumn gets overlooked in games for winter worlds or summer worlds, so this is a nice little surprise to get my favorite season. Here's proof that autumn is my favorite season. Look at it. So much joy. The levels, though, were all unique and didn't feel redundant as you advanced through them. Oftentimes, levels would change sceneries mid-level as you entered caves, dungeons, or castles, while in these worlds you would fight off wave after wave of enemies with many bosses throughout, such as Enderman, who is a complete ripoff of Slenderman, or the Evoker, because I guess he evokes fear wherever he goes. They were never crazy hard, but enough to make you think about some strategies instead of just barreling on in there. The levels finish up generally with a stage boss such as the Corrupted Cauldron or the Nameless One, which can actually be fairly challenging. I do think that every stage should have had a boss though, but the ones they included were always fun to battle. As you traverse these worlds though, you have several ways of fighting the enemies that approach you. You can use your melee weapon, your bow, or magic items. You have a limited number of arrows, but you can find more within the level. But the magic items, they just simply have a cooldown time between the uses. You will find new weapons, bows, and items as you travel the world, either in treasure chests or by defeating enemies. Some items were awesome, like the llama summon. I kept this item longer than I'm proud to admit, because I just wanted to see him. Look, llama friends. You can also level up after enough experience like in any dungeon crawler game. However, your base stats don't increase at all when you level up. Instead, you get enchantment points. You can use these enchantment points to upgrade your weapon or armor with special abilities or to make them more powerful. But as soon as you really get your weapon upgraded, you end up finding a weapon that you think is better. But to really try it out with the enchantments, you have to salvage or discard your old weapon completely to get the points back to put into the new weapon. There were so many times that I salvaged an old weapon just to discover I hated my new weapon, and then I was stuck with it until I found a better one. They really should let you extract the enchantment points to test weapons out instead of making you trash the entire old weapon first. This salvage policy led me to just sticking with a weapon I finally liked for long term, for the fear of getting a sucky weapon if I swapped it out. I held on to the claymore for what seemed like forever, just waiting till a high-powered weapon I liked to drop. Little did I know though, I'd be waiting almost endlessly for this to happen, and doing so was actually detrimental to my character at the same time. Because the game chooses to not tell you that your weapon, armor, and magic item stats all average out to a number called your character power level. And this is actually really, really important, because whatever your power level is determines what level of items that the enemies will drop. Since I was holding the same weapons long term and the magic items that I liked long term, my power level was nearly stagnant, so I was almost never getting more powerful weapons or items. As I progressed through the worlds and leveled up and the enemies got harder, I was so confused why I rarely saw high-powered items being dropped. This was once again because item drops are not based on your character level or the harder worlds or enemies, it is based solely on your power level. What they should do is allow you to use weapons and items that you like and still grow in power. Because this would be, I don't know, what's the word for it? Oh yes, fun. However, despite hating this mechanic so much and wasting a third of the review discussing it, I found myself having a blast playing this game 90% of the time, and there are many things that the game did right. First off, the sheer amount of items to choose from and their individual enchantment powers was pretty exciting to try out. Yes, I often ended up wanting my old melee weapons back after swapping, but upgrading the armor and the bow were almost always upgrades that I wanted. Discovering new upgrade powers of shooting snowballs or leaving fire trails behind you kept the game exciting and evolving as you continued through it. That and also the way the armor changed how your character looked. Seeing my old man change into wolf's armor or highland armor or a new robe was always fun and allowed for some customization of your character's look. I feel my pilgrim armor fit the old man the best though. The game also had some little puzzles throughout and had small traps set up for you as well. Like this here, there's a treasure chest in the middle of this platform that I can roll onto. But as soon as you do that, a wave of enemy comes out and begins to shoot at you while you are just sitting there completely defenseless and you can't get back. It was like the game was trolling us, and I appreciate a game that has some personality like that. Another plus the game has going for it is the co-op action. The ability to play together online with friends really brings far more fun to the game. You get to have different core weapons that can reach different enemies at different times. I loved my claymore and Sism loved his glaive. A traitor to all lumberjacks worldwide by not using the axe, but someone has to be the trailblazer and pave the way. It also allowed for strategies to be formed and carried out instead of just hacking away through your enemies. Many times Sism and I would plan co-op attacks that required his shield totem and my regeneration totem to really carry out a successful run. And strategizing like this with a friend is always a plus to any game. Plus, once again, it allowed for llama friends. The replayability for this game is wonderful as well. After finishing different levels, several of them had secrets to find out that unlocked these side levels. The side levels were generally pretty short, but they were great for making later runs in the game to boost up your power levels. The core story probably took us about 10 hours to finish, but then that unlocked the adventure mode, which expanded the game for at least another 6 hours or so. In this mode, the enemies were much harder, but you also had a mission to find runes in every single level. It added a fun search element to that hack and slash formula. Also, the idea that expansions are going to be regularly developed allows for the game's fun to continue on into the future as well. But while we've added several great things about the game, let's go through a few more gripes we have on the game as well. First off, you have to actually create a Microsoft account to play the game on the Switch. It's not hard, but it's a completely unnecessary step that will eliminate many people from ever playing online with their friends. Speaking of the online, about 50% of the time that we would complete a world having flawless internet connection throughout the entire thing, it would some reason boot us out of the server. We never lost progress, but having to re-log in every time to get our rewards and return to the camp was a nuisance. Also, as much as I loved having the replayability of the adventure mode, the reward for completing it was actually a huge disappointment. All you got was something called the cow level. Now, this was just an onslaught of cows that were nearly unable to attack as we just mowed them down. The level was a joke, completed in no time, and didn't present a challenge at all. Hours of work to get to a level that was so easy that there was no fun to be had. Yes, I know it's a homage to Diablo 2's cow level, but that level was a challenge in Diablo, so it was actually fun. But this, Also, I missed the ending video because I pressed the A button to attack the illager and it skipped the ending scene because that was the same button. Poor planning on their part. Overall, Minecraft Dungeons does have its flaws. However, the game is honestly just a lot of fun to play, and that's the #1 feature in a game. So the flaws were evident, but even when you notice them, you're still having a good time. I would give the game a solid 7 out of 10 because when finishing the game, I was still wanting more. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, go out there, find a great game to play, and just simply have a great rest of the day.